for Big Ten football on Fox as UCLA comes into town to take on James Franklin's undefeated and 7th-ranked Penn State Nittany Lions. Hi, everybody. I'm Gus Johnson along with my quarterback, Joel Klatt, and welcome to Penn State, folks. Everything's different around here nowadays. James Franklin went out, hired a new OC, hired a new DC. Now the vibe has changed. They're feeling happy.
Yep.
They're undefeated. The offense is moving and grooving, and they're led by an emerging quarterback and 2 running backs that can really get it done.
So you're telling me it's happy in Happy Valley.
That's right.
What
That's
you're
right.
saying right now. And
That's
listen,
right.
I would be happy too, as that quarterback Drew Aller, if I had these guys on the outside to get the ball to. The skill position players at Penn State are just playing so well right now, led by Katron Allen. He's been the picture of consistency ever since he stepped foot on campus here at Penn State, has averaged over 5 yards per carry in every season. Now, Nick Singleton, he didn't practice a ton this week. We'll see how much he actually plays here against UCLA, but don't worry, there's more stars, and their tight end, Tyler Warren, one of the most versatile players in America. He'll line up at quarterback, tight end. They'll split him out wide. It's a treat to watch number 44. On the opposite side, UCLA dealing with their own injuries. Their quarterback, Ethan Garbers, will not play. That means it's redshirt sophomore, 4-star quarterback Justin Martin that'll get the start here in UCLA's first road game in Big Ten play. Now, it's a loud environment. This pass rush for Penn State is fierce, so look for Justin Martin to use his ability to run, in particular early in this game, and try to get outside of the pocket.
All right, time now to join the 3rd member of our team on the sideline. You know who she is. Let's go downstairs to the All-American girl, Jenny Tabb.
Well, Gus, in so many ways, when you look at this game, it really could be viewed as a trap game. We know Penn State is off to a hot start. You guys talked about their record. Next week, they go to USC on the road. But today, they're playing UCLA. This is a team starting their backup quarterback, and they've lost 3 straight. Well, I asked all of that to Coach Franklin yesterday, and really he dismissed the notion, saying that storyline, it comes from the outside. It comes from reporters like you. It's not something we're dealing with internally. He did point out he'd like to clean up the penalties. Why? Because it's ugly football, and it shows a lack of discipline. Now, I also asked defensive leader Abdul Carter about this game. He said sometimes when you're expected to blow out a team, it can be the most challenging. We need to focus on the little things, do all the little things right, and take care of a nameless and faceless opponent.
All right, Jenny, thank you very much. Beautiful day here in Happy Valley. Sun is shining. Nice little wind. 65 degrees at kickoff time here at one of the largest stadiums in the world. The series note, Penn State, UCLA, a series that dates back to a 1963 meeting here in State College. UCLA leads it 4-2. Last time they played in '68. Number 3, Penn State prevailed 21-6 in the LA Coliseum. Jim Cates had a 36-yard blocked punt return for a touchdown as Penn State won it on the way to an 11-0 season. UCLA won the toss. Deferred. Penn State will receive the kickoff. And here we go. Been tough sledding for the Bruins. But Deshaun Foster, their first-year head coach, he has confidence in his guys that they're going to continue to get better and better as this season progresses. Bruins, Lions. Here we go. Ball caught in the end zone. Quentin Martin. And he'll cross the 25 up to the 27, maybe the 28-yard line, and that'll bring out the Penn State offense and their quarterback, Drew Allen.
Well, he protects the football about as well as anybody in college football. But, Gus, when I watch him this year as opposed to last year, I just see a guy that's more confident, more mature, and that manifests in his calm demeanor. I just see a guy who's more comfortable in the offense, even with all the creativity going on around him with their new coordinator.
First down and 10 for the Nittany Lions. And they'll hand it off on first down. Katron Allen running right. He'll pick up a couple. Offensively, let's take a look at Penn State.
Yeah, well, they replaced all those offensive linemen, including a first-round left tackle in Olu Fashanu, and I think that this group actually is better. They're more cohesive in the run game. They're doing a heck of a job. And then on the outside, they'd still love a wide receiver to really emerge as a #1 threat. But Tyler Warren, folks, this guy is all over the field, and he's one of the most, I think, versatile players in the country, number 44.
2nd down and 5. Ball at the 32-yard line. Out of the end. And here's a handoff. Excuse me. Aller throwing near side and incomplete. Ball intended for Julian Fleming, the Ohio State transfer.
Defensively for these Bruins, Gus, they're really led by Kane Medrano. He's their linebacker. He's a heck of a player, number 20, and he's played all over the field in his career. Safety, linebacker, you can tell that he's played all over because he has great instincts. Now, this UCLA defense, I actually think that this defense is much better than what their record would indicate. They're aggressive. This is a team that was tied at half with LSU, so they can play a little bit.
3rd down and 5 at the 32. Near side throw caught, but gobbled up quickly. Well done as Omari Evans makes the reception. Jalen Davies with the tackle.
Beautiful job by Jalen Davies at the quarterback position, so cornerback position. Here he is on the outside, and watches, he's just going to let his guy go in and then break back out, and he's right there and makes a beautiful tackle for a 3rd down stop, and UCLA goes 3 and out defensively here early.
So Penn State ready to punt it away. Riley Thompson. Logan Loya is your deep man. Caught on the sideline and fair caught at the 30. Quarterback, an issue for the Bruins as they come into this one.
Ethan Garber's out, Justin Martin in. 6'4", 220. Gus, this guy is athletic. He's got a strong arm and a bright future. I think that they're going to need to get him outside on the edge. Now, there is another new player for UCLA. Sam Yoon, the center, is going to be new for them. So think about it. One of the loudest stadiums in America, they're trotting out a guy that's really making his first start at quarterback and at center in Sam Yoon and Justin Martin. That's tough. That's tough to do.
Justin Martin from Inglewood, California. They'll hand it off. TJ Harden on 1st down, running left. And he's stopped by Dennis Sutton offensively. Here are the Bruins.
Yeah, some change-ups up front. Nick Prongos goes out to left tackle. Josh Carlin goes from center to right guard. That's where he played the bulk of last season. Now, in the back end, TJ Harden, he gets the bulk of the carries and touches out of this offense. He's a good player, number 25, a junior from Los Angeles. And I think he could be a 20-25 carry a game guy.
2nd down and 7. Ball at the 33. Out of the gun. Delayed handoff. Straight ahead, and they'll gain a few, not a lot for TJ Harden as Kobe King, young man from Detroit, Michigan, makes the tackle.
Boy, this defense is good, aren't they? We've been watching them all week in preparation for this game. You've got Abdul Carter up front, number 11. He's one of the most talented players in the country. You got Kobe King and Tony Rojas. Tony Rojas, really good young star. But in the back end, they're trying to replace KJ Winston. He's out with a long-term injury. Check out Jalen Reed, number 1. He's going to have to be the leader of that secondary from this point moving forward.
3rd down and 4 at the 36-yard line. TJ Harden remains in the backfield for UCLA. This ball thrown and complete as Justin Martin put it on a dime. Logan Loya with the reception for 1st down.
Beautiful job right here of getting into this little soft area and then just stopping right there. Logan Loya, he's a versatile slot player. And Gus, when we're talking with the coaches, and in particular the offensive coordinator, Eric Bieniemy, he said that Logan Loya does a great job understanding space. And that was a terrific example right there, finding that soft spot.
1st down and 10 at the 48. Justin Martin looks confident in the pocket, completes this one to Loya. As Kobe King was right there for the stop. Remember, this Penn State team last week, they beat Illinois 21-7. Illinois scored on their first drive, and then the Nittany Lions just shut them down. Had 7 sacks in that game.
Yeah, the pass rush is ferocious for this team, and that's why you're seeing these short passes from UCLA. Eric Bieniemy, the offensive coordinator, doing a nice job early here, Gus, of getting the ball out of his quarterback's hands quickly.
2nd down and 7 at the 45. Play fake. Ball thrown to the far side. And it's caught. And that's Gilmer. Quasi Gilmer, real shifty as Wheatley brings him down.
Well, you got to convert. You got to stay on the field. This has been a really good opening series so far for Eric Bieniemy in this offense, in particular for a young quarterback making his first start. So now you've got to have the ability to stay on the field. It looks like they've got some lineup issues. They're running in guys a little bit late here, but they should have enough time on the play clock.
Eric Bieniemy, two-time world champion as the offensive coordinator with the Kansas City Chiefs. First year here at UCLA, 3rd and 4th to 42. UCLA trying to set it up. They will not have enough for the first down. Keegan Jones in the game. Makes the reception, gets out of bounds, but this may be 4-down territory.
Yeah, it's right in that area. They're in field goal range with their kicker, Mateen Bogani. He's got the leg. I was watching him pregame. He was hitting from about close to 60, really. So they're in range, but they're going to try to stay on the field and go for it. Watch for something where the quarterback is on the edge, Gus. They got to get Justin Martin out of the pocket here towards the right side.
4th down and 3 at the 41.
They're not going to have enough time. They're going to need a timeout here.
4 seconds on the play clock. And Coach Foster decides to take that timeout. Big play coming up for the Bruins. 9:26 to go. They're on their opening series, moving the ball against the Nittany Lions. The Western Hemisphere to Michigan Stadium, and 4th largest in the world. 4th down and 3 for UCLA at the Penn State 41-yard line. Bruins want to throw it, sidearm sling, nicely done, Justin Martin, as he finds his tight end. And I tell you what, this young man is showing some confidence early.
Yeah, and what I love here is they're just able to sneak the tight end right out there. That's Matavao. And he is able to just sit in that little area, void in the defense. And look at Justin Martin. He dips down sidearm. A nice little adjustment with his arm angle. And they're able to convert. That is a huge conversion for a young quarterback here early.
1st down and 10 at the 32. Justin Martin, 4-star recruit out of Inglewood High School in Southern California. He'll roll out of the pocket, square his shoulders off his back foot, and it's caught on the far sideline. Or is it a drop? Picked up down the sideline, and that's Wheatley. Let's see if this play will stand. Flag on the play.
Maliki Matavao right here, he kind of catches 1-2, and then he is hit and contacted. I don't know if he ever had time there, the element of time after controlling the football. So at worst here for UCLA, I think that this is incomplete. There was a flag late, Gus, and I think that they're going to take a look at Zaki Wheatley
before the change of
contacting
possession.
the head and neck area.
Personal foul, targeting defense number 6. The play is under further review.
So remember, as Matavao is catching that ball, he is considered defenseless and will get defenseless player protection, which means any contact to the head or neck area that is forcible would be deemed targeting on Zaki Wheatley.
Wheatley, a junior from Crofton, Maryland. Dean Blandino, our rules analyst in Los Angeles, joins us. Dino, what do you see?
Couple things to look at. First, was it a catch? To me, like Joel was saying, I don't think he has the ball long enough. He's going to the ground. The ball is knocked loose before he can complete that process. So to me, this pass is incomplete. Now we go to the targeting. Forcible contact to the head neck area because we do have a defenseless player. To me, I see the Penn State defender actually get more to the chest of the receiver. I don't see a direct blow to the head neck area. This will be the best look. You're going to see him duck and get his head to the side. That to me is not targeting, but I do like this as an incomplete pass.
I'm with Dean there. The contact to the head was more glancing, and then the forcible contact was in the chest of the tight end. I would agree with Dean there.
Tim O'Day, your referee today. 8:31 to play in the first quarter.
You know, and as they're going through this process, Gus, I would just like you take a little bit of a step back. Impressive opening series here from the redshirt sophomore Justin Martin.
Justin Martin, I tell you, last week against Oregon, he was 1 of 4, 7 yards, 1 short rush on the season, 2 of 5, for 12 yards. This is his 3rd year in the program. He's thrown just 5 passes coming into this game in his entire career. But I tell you what, he looks confident and talented.
Yeah, and this is a team just searching for some success, to be honest with you. Now, their schedule has been horrific. You know, they've had to play an Indiana team that's undefeated. They've had to go to Baton Rouge and face LSU. They had to play Oregon. Now they've got Penn State. So they've only led for 2 minutes and 16 seconds this season towards the end of their opener against Hawaii. That's the 2nd lowest in college football to Kent State. Kent State has led for 0 seconds.
After reviewing the play, there is no foul for targeting. Number 6 can remain in the game. It has also been determined that the pass was incomplete. It will be returned to the previous spot, the 32-yard line, where it will be 2nd down, UCLA.
There's that look, and see that element of time, just never quite had the element of time before that ball is knocked loose. And Zaki Weekly did a nice job, Gus, of lowering himself under the head. So really quality all around there.
Monteval, senior, Oregon transfer. Second down and 10 at the 32. TJ Harden in the backfield with Justin Martin. Martin with the handoff. And Harden. Nice running between the tackles. Your UCLA, you're undermanned, a lot of injuries. First year head coach during a transitionary period. What are you looking for as you come into games like this?
Well, you're trying to just grow every single week, and it's hard with a guy making his first start at quarterback, but the area that they need to get better at in a hurry is offensive line. There's Ethan Garbers, the Norville starter, out. He's had a lower body injury. Their offensive line has got to get better each and every week, and the way that UCLA can help them, Gus, is try to keep them out of obvious passing situations.
3rd down and 5 at the 27. Let's see if Justin Martin will put it in the air here. Martin will, looking, Martin checks it down. He's got his man, Harden. Nice move after the catch, and he should have the 1st down. I love the way UCLA is competing coming into this game.
You bet. These skill position players, they're good quality skill position group, and really led by TJ Harden. Gus, what I love on this last play here is Martin makes a decisive decision. He gets the ball out to his back with room to run and in front of him, so he can go back inside and knife down. Look at him get behind his pads and get in there and almost converts, and now it's a much more manageable 4th down opportunity, and they'll go for it.
4th down and 1 at the 23. Justin Martin hands it off, looking for the 1st down, and they won't get it. At Penn State, interior, coming up big, Kosiah Izzard, the senior out of Columbia, Maryland, legendary DeMatha High School.
Zaki Wheatley, the safety, look at him come down right here. He's right in the hole, and he just meets Harden, makes the stop. Beautiful job. Penn State gets the 4th down stop. They're back on offense when we come back.
Business reliability for your business is our business. And by Coke Zero Sugar. Is it the best Coke ever? Try and decide. Believe it or not, Penn State and UCLA have met before 6 times from 1963 to 1968. The Bruins lead the series 4-2, but Penn State won their last meeting in Los Angeles. Jack Ham, my former partner at Westwood One Radio, Penn State legend, blocked a punt for the Nittany Lions on the way to victory. He's here today calling Penn State football, as usual. 1st down and 10 for the Nittany Lions on the 24-yard line. Nice run as they move that pile forward. Looks like a 1st down for the running attack. Patron out.
Tell you, that's an above and beyond run, right? Let's go above and beyond. Sponsored by Jersey Mike's. Be a sub above, and these running backs have been tremendous for Penn State really since they stepped foot on campus, but in particular this year. Katron Allen might get the bulk of the carries today. Nick Singleton, he did not practice a lot this week, so we'll see how much he's used.
Can I get you a chain like that, Joel? Would you wear it? Would you rock it?
You think I could rock it? Do you think I could?
In Newport?
Just rolling around, right? I'm on a boat.
There you go, on the boat. Little Wildcat action here. Gordon Nittany Lions, Tyler Warren. Just a terrific player. He's a tight end, but played quarterback in high school. Lefty. He's thrown a touchdown this year. Ran for a touchdown last week. Had a Spencer Tillman into the end zone leap. Ball checked down and caught as Penn State gets it forward. And that is Quentin Martin Jr., Ramon, and Henderson with the tackle.
I'll tell you, Quentin Martin Jr. is one of these guys. He's a young player, just a freshman. He's going to get a lot of reps today because Cam Wallace is out, their normal third string back. Singleton has been down in practice, so watch out for Quentin Martin. And I'm telling you, Gus, when I've seen him on film, he has flashed. 6'1", 202 pounds. I think he's a guy that has a really bright future when it is his number called here in the future for Penn State.
First down and 10 at the 46-yard line. Play fake. Allen steps into his throw. And that one thrown behind his target, who was open. That's Julian Fleming. And we're waiting for Julian Fleming, the Ohio State transfer, who was a great slot receiver for Ryan Day with the Buckeyes, but he's gotten off to a slow start here at Penn State.
Remember, a Pennsylvania native. It was a bit of an upset that Ohio State got him as one of the best recruits in the entire country. Number 3 overall to go to Ohio State. He's back home, and there, just the timing with Drew Aller off on that deep end cut.
5-star recruit, 2nd and 10 at the 46. Allen with the handoff. Katron. Nothing. Well defended by this UCLA team. Swessinger with the tackle. Carson Swessinger really stepping up for this defense this year.
Yeah, and he's been a reserve most of his career, but Gus, as they've had Femi Oladejo, number 2, has moved down to defensive end. He's going to be at the top of your screen, and he's an imposing looking cat, 6'3", 250. Well, since he moved down from linebacker, Carson Swessinger, he's come in and really solidified that second level.
3rd down and 10 of the 46. Allen remains in the game. Allen with time. Bounces. And Allen trying to break a tackle, but will be swung down. And that's what UCLA is looking for. A pass rush.
And there's our guy. I just mentioned him, Femi Oladejo. He is an imposing guy, like I said, and he's fast, and they're just trying to teach him these pass rushing ability. And look, he splits the double team, and then the motor does not stop. That is UCLA's first sack since the first week of the season. They had not gotten to the quarterback in the last 3 games, and here early already putting Drew Aller on his back.
So you can see the improvement by Deshaun Foster's team coming into this game against one of the best football squads in college football. Out of bounds inside the 30. And that will bring on Justin Martin and the Bruins on offense once again when we return to Happy Valley. UCLA, Penn State, Bruins fighting hard. They look organized, confident, and prepared on the road. First down and 10 at the 25. Justin Martin, the quarterback. He'll hand it off. That's Berger running. Stopped by Dennis Sutton. Dennis Sutton, interesting player. When you look at the ends on this team, Dennis Sutton and Abdul Carter, once again, like last year, Chop Robinson, Adisa Isaac, you got 2 guys that should be playing on Sunday this time next year.
Yeah, there's no doubt. And Carter moved down from linebacker into that end spot. And right now, Amin Vanover is out there opposite Dennis Sutton, number 15. But I think Dennis Sutton could be one of the premier pass rushers in the country.
2nd and 5 at the 30. Play fake. Martin in trouble, and he is rocked in the backfield by the guy you were just talking about, partner, Dennis Sutton.
Well, you might want to block one of those premier pass rushers. So here he is, and then watch as he's going to stunt outside, and then he's going to come down, and nobody blocks him. I mean, I don't think you got to be one of the premier pass rushers to make that hit, but boy, he was in there in a hurry, and Martin had no ability to get that ball down the field.
Former 5-star recruit from McDonough School in Maryland, was third-team All Big Ten last year despite just 3 starts. He said, I really feel that I'm going to be the best defensive end in the country this year, and he's playing like a 3rd down and 5 at the 30. And a timeout called by UCLA. 3:18 to play in the first quarter. No score. Penn State on Fox, the exclusive home of the NLDS. There's a big fella, legend, Bryce Harper. I don't know if he's going to be ready when my Tigers make it to the World Series this year. We're going to win it for the first time since 1984. Gibeon, Whitaker, Trammell. But that's later. 3rd down and 5 at the 30. We got Bruins and Nittany Lions competing. Electric atmosphere here in Happy Valley. Undefeated Penn State. UCLA now. 3rd down and 5 at the 30. Backup quarterback Justin Martin. He's been calm and collected. He'll throw it and a whistle. False start coming up against the Bruins, and that's another thing that's hurt this team. Penalties.
Before the ball was snapped, false start. Offense number 66. 5-yard penalty, 3rd down.
Well, listen, every offensive line struggles in this environment.
That's true.
The noise here is just unique, and you're facing a pass rush, Gus. So think about it. If you take a look at the last 3 years in college football, nobody has gotten to the quarterback more than the Penn State Nittany Lions. So when you've got that hanging over your head as an offensive line, as a new quarterback, it's tough to hang in there, but you got to do it, and this is what they've got to avoid. I would still try to get the ball out of the hands of the quarterback as quickly as I possibly could here.
So that'll make it 3rd down and 10 at the 25. Jalen Berger in the backfield. Martin with time off his back foot. Caught. 1st down, UCLA. Wonderful job, Logan Lawyer with the catch, but Justin Martin under pressure put it right on the money.
This is such an impressive throw because live, I'm like, man, he's trying to throw this off his back foot. So watch Justin Martin, and he doesn't have the opportunity to really step into this. He kind of fades away and throws this, and it's still a bullet. And there's Logan Loya again, our guy that understands space out of the slot, and he's wide open for a conversion.
That'll give him a 1st down, a 17-yard gain at the 42 now. Here's a handoff, and it's Berger. 5th-year player from Newark, New Jersey, Michigan State transfer, Jalen Berger, and Jay Thomas with the tackle.
Okay, so Gus, these snaps become really important. Okay, you've got a little confidence going with your quarterback. Just made a great 3rd down throw, but you don't want to have him do that time and time again. So this 2nd and 11, Gus, it has to turn into 3rd and 5 or 3rd and 4. You're looking for about half of this back if you're the offensive coordinator, Eric Bieniemy. Get the ball out of his hands quickly, maybe even get him outside of the pocket.
Eric Bieniemy, a brilliant, and I mean brilliant offensive mind. 2nd and 11 at the 41. Play fake. Underneath. Ball caught. And they'll get up to the 50-yard line. Monteval again with the reception.
I love this play call because you've got upfield rushing right here, and then you're just going to have the tight end just circle back. Little tight end screen right in the middle. The offensive line does a nice job, and they do exactly what I was just talking about, Gus, is they put this in a manageable 3rd down situation for the young quarterback.
Monteval just squatting and finding a soft spot. 3rd down and 3 at the 49. And this may be 4-down territory for UCLA again at midfield. Martin sets up a screen. He's got his man, but he won't go very far. Tony Rojas. Football is live.
I knew that was coming. Right when I saw 13 make the tackle, I'm like, all right, baby, here we go. I know you love Tony Rojas, and for good reason. He's just a sophomore, but look at the instincts. Gets off the block of number 64, Sam Yoon, the center, and he's able to chase down the back and get his defense off the field. Tremendous play.
Rojas, four-star prep running back and linebacker at Fairfax High School in Virginia. He ran for 4,000 yards and 60 touchdowns and had over 100 tackles in his high school career. We'll send it away. Jake Spencer with the fair catch inside the 20. All right, here's today's Aflac trivia question sponsored by Aflac. Get help with expenses health insurance doesn't cover with Aflac. I know you're going to get this one, Joel, but I don't know if you're going to know who number 2 is. Eric Bieniemy finished 3rd in the 1990 Heisman voting. Who finished 1st and 2nd?
Man, you know, I grew up in the Denver area, and I was such a Colorado fan, but I didn't know how to pronounce Bieniemy's name. So as a kid, I used to say Eric the Enemy.
The Enemy.
The Enemy. Eric the Enemy around the corner. And that's just such great memories.
Here's a run. Kaytron Allen, and you played for Eric Bieniemy at Colorado.
For 1 year, he was the running back coach when I got there as a freshman, and then he actually left to go to UCLA. And I tell you what, he's had a great run. Been in the NFL for years, a world champion. Now back here with UCLA, trying to build something special with Deshaun Foster. They're in a tight one with the Nittany Lions. 0-0.
Beaver Stadium, Penn State and UCLA. Let's go downstairs to Jenny Tapp.
Well, Coach, your thoughts first on Justin Martin and how he's performing so far.
Doing a good job. We just got to get out of the huddle a little bit sooner, give ourselves a little bit more time on the play clock. But other than that, he's playing a good game.
Defensively, that crucial sack in the first quarter. What else do you want to continue to see from your guys?
Continue to get pressure out there and just continue to play ball.
Thanks for the time.
Thank you.
All right, 2nd down and 3 at the 25. And I like what Coach Foster had to say. Calm, cool. Our guys are doing better, but we have to be consistent.
Yeah, listen. Like I said at the outset, UCLA is better than their record. They've got good players. They were in a tight game with LSU, and we're seeing that right now.
First down and 10 to the 30. Allen trying to get outside, and he will not. Great pursuit this time. It's Swessinger coming up with the tackle. Also K.J. Wallace in the vicinity.
And what I really have liked is their first quarter defense. You see the first 4 games, they allowed 35 points, most in the Big Ten. Today, nothing for Penn State offensively. So this defense coming in with a good plan, and they've been flying around so far.
2nd down and 11. At the 29, Quentin Martin Jr. in the backfield. They're working him in a lot. And looks like some movement on that defensive line for UCLA. That's Toia, the senior. He's their leader and captain.
Offside, defense number 93 with contact. 5-yard penalty, 2nd down.
And Joel, we live in such an interesting world now. Jay Toia, senior, leader from Inglewood, California as well, playing for UCLA, is a USC transfer.
Well, there's a lot of those. We got guys on USC this year that followed Danton Lynn, the Bruins coordinator from a year ago defensively, over to USC. So a lot of that going on. And here we got a little change up. Bo Prabula now in there at quarterback.
2nd down and 6 at the 34. Prabula will run it. And Prabula moving forward, ridden out of bounds by Swessinger. But that's what they like Bo Prabula to do. He is a rugged quarterback.
Yeah, 6'2", 207 pounds, and he'll come in there for that exact reason right there. A little quarterback run game. Coach Meyer was talking about it in his playbook on Big Noon Kickoff. You see what he can do on the outside, and good power there, presenting a really easy 3rd down opportunity.
3rd down and 1. At the 39.
They've got man-to-man coverage across the board here. Someone on the outside has got to win for Drew Allen.
Allen hands it off. Allen, 1st down and more. Flag on the play. As Kaytron Allen gets out of bounds. Let's see, though.
There's a flag down right in the middle of that offensive line.
Holding. Offense number 53. 10-yard penalty from the previous spot. 3rd down.
That's Nick Dawkins.
Nick Dawkins, their center, who's been playing really well. He's playing some of the best football of his life right there in the middle. And he got that UCLA defensive line slanting across his face, okay? And so as the defensive line is slanting this way across his face, he just gets that right arm in there and just tangles up and pulls the defensive lineman down. I believe that was Havili Kafusi in there, number 95.
Nick Dawkins, first-year starter. His dad was Chocolate Thunder. You know who that is?
I do.
Daryl Dawkins, the legendary NBA player who went from high school straight to the pros. Rest in peace. Over the middle. Caught! Beautiful throw. Grab Lee and Clifford. Went up high to get it, but Aller with a strike.
Beautiful job of taking advantage of this space back here in the deep middle of the field. You see the coverage change. Aller sees it, and that is a layered ball that's beautifully thrown.
Quentin Martin Jr. running it. But this Penn State offense has shown the ability to be much more explosive.
That's exactly right. That's exactly what James Franklin wanted out of his new offensive coordinator, Andy Kotelnicki. And it's not necessarily, Gus, that they're taking deep shots down the field. In fact, those have not increased from a year ago. But what you just saw was an intermediate ball that was thrown past 15 yards. And that's what they're far greater at. And I think Andy Kotelnicki here,
there he is,
box calling the plays. He has done a masterful job with this group.
Second down and 9 at the 26-yard line. Aller again to throw it. Again the sideline caught. His tight end, Tyler Warren, in stride. And Penn State moving the football.
Anytime that they get more than one receiver into the short side of the field and Warren is lined up on that side, they are clearing out to run a wheel right down the sideline, and he just has a little delayed release and nobody ever guards him. He does a great job on that release, and Aller is always looking there first. I'll try to point it out next time I see it, but boy, their formation's a dead giveaway for that wheel route down the sideline.
Drew Aller playing with a lot of confidence, a lot of poise, and he's having fun. Becoming more of a leader, a vocal leader. Here's Aller again now, underneath, caught. I tell you what, the big Zamboni, Andy Kotelnicki. He's coming here, folks. Andy Kotelnicki used to drive a Zamboni. Growing up in Minnesota, he played hockey. And he's coming here to smooth the ice, and that's what he's doing. Aller again. Trying to dump it down, incomplete. Allen, the closest man to the football.
Yeah. Their offense was actually, Gus, last year #1 in the Big Ten. But nobody would have told you that because they disappeared in the biggest moments against Ohio State and against Michigan. They couldn't run the football. They didn't get their best players in the football. And now that's what he's been brought in to do. Be more creative, make sure that our best players are touching the football, and try to create more explosive plays. And they've done every one of those things so far through the first month.
Third down and 3 at the 22. Aller steps up. He can run. Aller dives, and he'll get that first down. Drew Aller, not the most fluid runner, but he is a serviceable runner.
And any quarterback will know, and coordinator will know. If you're playing this position at this level, you have to create 1 to 3 first downs with your legs. It doesn't matter if you can run. You can run a 5-2. Yeah, it does not matter how fleet of foot you are. You've got to move the chains with your legs when the opportunity arises. It just did for Aller, and he's able to create a new set of downs.
Remember, he's 6'5", 235 pounds.
Here we go. We got a big fella out here. We got an offensive lineman. Here we go.
Wow. And there's that versatility shown by Andy Kotelnicki. You got an offensive lineman in motion.
I love it.
Have you ever seen that?
Well, yeah, from them on tape, right? Yawone, he's their left guard at 71, so they bring in a new left guard. That's going to be Cooper Cousins, and then boom,
whoa,
and gives him, hey, how about the business at the end, too?
Yes.
He said, here's one, and then another one for my friends. Whoo, look at that. Yawanya, 71, is athletic. He can pull, but that's that creativity, getting guys out in space and creating difficulty on the defense. That's what Andy Kotelnicki does.
He was all Big Ten honorable mention as a freshman. 2nd and 2. He won't get it. Good pressure up the middle. Swessinger, Oladejo
You know, this is when I feel like you can get some of that creative stuff again. They brought in 2 extra offensive linemen, so now they got a big formation in there. You're going to get something. J.B. Nelson came into the game. Cooper Cousins came into the game. They've got 7 offensive linemen out there. Yes, they do.
And now, a little Philadelphia Eagles brotherly shove for the first down, which for Philadelphia is unstoppable. Let's see. Penn State, now UCLA saying get out here quickly, like there may be an injured player for the Bruins. As they sort it out and take a look, we'll step aside. Is unable to get the ball downfield, so James Franklin brought in offensive coordinator Andy Kotelnicki, a Minnesota native who grew up driving a Zamboni. He's a hockey player. He's been able to smooth out the ice for the Nittany Lions, focusing on lengthening their attack. And I remember that? You hear that song? I remember that song. That's by the Gear Daddies. I want to drive a Zamboni.
Oh, you got a hockey in your background. You ever drive a Zamboni?
No, too scared to do that. But I'm sure our Jenny Taft, who was a hockey player, did it as well. First down, a goal of 9 for Penn State. Let's see what the big Zamboni draws up for the Nittany Lions. Here's a handoff. Allen skipping, pushing, and he'll go down inside the UCLA 5.
Really good push by that offensive line. This is that cohesiveness, Gus, that I was talking about. Watch this push by the offensive line. Just moving people down the field. And this O-line has played really well this year. I know that it's been a bit of a slow start here in this ball game. Haven't scored a point, but this series they've certainly gotten themselves going with those 5 guys up front.
Second down and goal for the Nittany Lions. At the Bruins 3, Prabula in at quarterback. You know he wants to run it out of the offset eye. And look at that offensive lineman in motion again. They run it straight ahead. They will not get in. Ioane, number 71. And you mentioned this during the break. You said Kotelnicki said, hey, we usually put tight ends down here. Why don't we just put offensive linemen?
That's right. That's normally like an H-back type of block or even a wide receiver. And he just thinks outside of the box. And he says to himself, well, why not do it with one of our bigger players? And we've got the athleticism out of Ioane. He can go in motion. He can cut off that backside. Why not do it with a little more meat?
Third down and goal of the 1. Here's the brotherly shove. Aller, all 6'5", 235, and he'll get in. Touchdown, Penn State. Drew Aller.
They bring in that 2 extra offensive linemen, shove right into the end zone, and Penn State, best offensive series of the day by far. Started with that nice completion from Drew Aller right down the middle of the field, and that got him in rhythm. And that run game started to pick up, just churn out yards here down in the red zone.
3rd rushing touchdown of the season for Aller, 8th of his career. Last week against Illinois, he passed for season low, 135 yards.
Is under further review.
Did throw a touchdown pass for the first time this year. However, he doesn't care about that anymore. He cares about running this offense, being the leader, and he knows his time will come to put up big numbers.
You know, as a quarterback, you got to learn how to deal with being a quarterback. And Gus, one of the things that you learn, in particular when you're playing at a place like this, with this amount of pressure and scrutiny, you know, he was 25 touchdowns, 2 interceptions last year. He was 10-2 in a first year as a starter, and yet it wasn't good enough. And you know what you learn real quick? Your why. Why do you play this game? Because it can't just be being cool.
The ruling on the field of touchdown stands as called. It is a touchdown.
You know, your whole life as a quarterback, it's just all gravy. You know, everyone looks at you and he's been great. He's a 5-star and all this. But when it hits the fan, you learn your why. Why do you play this game? Do you love this game? And that's what I saw yesterday, talking with Drew Aller, is a young man that is maturing and knows his why deep in his soul. Why do I play this sport? Because I love it, and I love my teammates, and that's why he's playing so well this year.
Extra point up and good. 16-play drive for Penn State, covering 82 yards. They eat up 8 minutes and 36 seconds. Drew Aller with the 1-yard touchdown. James Franklin says, attaboy, do it for less at Harbor Freight.
The Pacific Life Game Summary sponsored by Pacific Life, creating financial security for nearly 160 years. Well, this UCLA team has battled here early in this ball game. Justin Martin gets the start, redshirt sophomore. He's 9 of 11 for 59 yards, but that TD drive by Penn State on their last series offensively was impressive. 16 plays, 82 yards, and a little over 8.5 on the clock. And Drew Aller lunged in on the quarterback sneak, and that's where we stand, Gus. 7-0, Nittany Lions.
You know why I like coming to Penn State?
Why's that?
Because your phones don't work. So I could just put it in my bag.
I did not expect that.
We're in the mountains. I love it. Don't bug me. I'm watching the Nittany Lions.
Oh, that's so good.
So UCLA will have it. A huge day of football on Fox continues tonight at 7:30 Eastern. A couple of good games as Baylor takes on 16th ranked Iowa State. Then at 11, Texas Tech takes on Arizona. It's all here on Fox and the Fox Sports app. And when you look at Iowa State, Joel, I tell you, their coach, he just really continues to win football games.
Oh, man.
Doesn't get a whole lot of credit.
Yeah, Matt Campbell's done a hell of a job there. You know, and at a program like his, I don't think they're ever going to be great year in and year out. Remember, he had the Brock Purdy teams with Breece Hall. They got up there, and they were, you know, a really good team, and now they're developing another really good team. Last week, shut out Houston 20-0. That Houston team just had a big win last night.
They'll hand it off T.J. Harden. Hey, Joel, what's up with the Aflac answer?
All right, so 1990, the Heisman was Ty Detmer. Okay. Eric Bieniemy was third. I think the team that Colorado beat for the national championship was Notre Dame, and Rocket Ishmael. Was he the... Yeah!
Oh, my goodness, you pulled it out.
The Rocket, baby. How good was he?
For Michigan fans, too good. 2nd down and 7 at the 28.
I know your audience, Joel.
Oh, my goodness. Martin rolling.
There you go.
It'll get out of bounds.
There we go. That's what we haven't seen yet, right? And from Martin. And now able to get him on the outside. Here's the numbers that 1990 Heisman top 3. Ty Detmer was putting up modern numbers, but way back then. Rocket was fantastic. 1,200 scrimmage yards. And then Eric Bieniemy and that Colorado team. That Colorado team, that team is why I fell in love with the sport. Watching the Buffalo run out, you know, Alfred Williams, Kanavis McGee on defense, Darian Hagan, Eric Bieniemy, J.J. Flanagan. I mean, that team is responsible for my love of this sport.
3rd down and 2 at the 33, and it shows in your work. Martin, near side, 1st down UCLA. T.J. Harden out of the backfield.
Hey, that's a good ball right there. Gus, that's not an easy throw. You've got to throw this tight out route. That is not a huge space. You see just on his back shoulder, a nice route by Logan Loya to create a little space. I've been impressed with Justin Martin so far. He has come out here in what I think is one of the most hostile environments in college football, and he has performed very well so far in this first half.
1st down from the 37. UCLA keeping it close. Martin lobs it up. Oh, caught down the sideline. Harden. And he's out of bounds at the Penn State 10. Justin Martin hung in there until the absolute last moment.
He absolutely did. This takes a lot of courage. Here's Martin in the pocket, and you're going to see the pressure from this pass rush start to show up. And again, kind of off his back foot. Beautiful throw with touch down the field. And you got to credit Harden for that nice catch. And now UCLA in business inside of the 15-yard line.
Justin Martin was rated the number 14 post-out quarterback in the country in 2021 after throwing for 2,100 yards and 41 touchdowns. I don't know, Joel. Bruins may have a guy.
I tell you, that was impressive right there. And we've seen now 3rd and long, he had the ability to convert. He's making these tight, what I would call small window throws on the outside like he did on 1st down. Hangs in there. Beautiful touch pass to Harden down the sideline. And here's what, inside the 10 with Eric Bieniemy as the offensive coordinator. Gus, you've got to look for creativity out of the formation in order to try to get an easy throw for your quarterback. That was a staple for the Kansas City Chiefs. You'll be wondering if they've got something dialed up here in the next few plays.
This UCLA offensive line playing much better today. And Martin hit as he throws. Guess who? Denied. Dennis Sutton with pressure in the backfield.
You know, this is a mistake schematically. Jack Peterson, the tight end, number 28, is being asked to block man-to-man against denied Dennis Sutton. Do not block defensive ends with tight ends. You cannot do it. It is not a matchup that is beneficial for you as an offense, and they're lucky that that arm was just moving forward before Dennis Sutton was able to get to the quarterback.
3rd down and goal. At the 7. Can UCLA pay it off after the 53-yard reception? Martin scrambling. Martin chase. Martin turns it up. And he'll go out of bounds at the 10. He'll lose yards on the play. Dennis Sutton trying to gobble him up once again.
And Amin Vanover was in there. Zane Durant from the tackle position. He had a good rush. Some of the Penn State players asking for the holding call, but great coverage down the field. And Martin had nowhere to go with the ball. That secondary doing a heck of a job there. And now UCLA will have to settle for a field goal.
So Ryan Barker will get the opportunity. Magoni will get the opportunity. A 25-yard field goal. UCLA trying to get on the board. And they do. 7-3, Penn State. UCLA, though, fighting hard. Here's a fun fact for you about Happy Valley. Happy Valley is the name given to the area during the Great Depression of the 1930s, as the area was generally not hit hard financially because of the presence of the university. Justin Martin, the UCLA, doing a fine job here in the 1st half for the Bruins. Nittany Lions ready to get it again. This one sent out of the end zone. Let's take a look at that last scoring drive for the Bruins. Very impressive.
Well, yeah,
Penn State.
16 plays, Gus. There was that play I was talking about early, and it got everyone in a rhythm. They found Tyler Warren down the rail on that wheel route. And then the run game started to take over and churning out yards. You got the creative formations. You got the extra offensive lineman in there for the tush push. And Drew Aller finds himself in the end zone. So a bit of a rhythm. And when we had them against West Virginia, here's what happened. As soon as Aller established a rhythm, they would take a shot down the field. So on this series, I feel like we're going to get a shot down the field here in the next 2 or 3 plays from Penn State.
1st down and 10 at the 25. Here's Aller winding up. Sideline throw, that should have been caught. Omari Evans, the intended receiver last year. Aller had a lot of drops by his receivers. Not the case this season.
No, it hasn't, actually. You know, last season they had 28 drops that they were assigning, at least, you know, in some of the stat services to the wide receivers. That was some of the most in the country. This year there's only been 3 so far. So as I was talking with James Franklin before the game, you know, he was saying, you know, part of what has made Drew a lot better this year is guys are making plays around him, and I think that's certainly the case.
2nd down and 10 of the 25. Katron Allen in motion. Allen, sidearm, Pat Mahomes style. And it's caught. Khalil Dinkins. Some action after the run. Junior from Wexford, Pennsylvania.
You called it perfectly, Gus. Look at him dip down and go sidearm. This is why, listen, 1, I want more kids to play multiple sports. 2, if you're a quarterback, go play middle infield in baseball. Why? Because you learn how to throw from all different arm angles and with your body in all different positions. Turning to, getting the ball to first base. That style of play lends itself to being a creative playmaker at the quarterback position. We just saw that right there.
Your coach would have killed you if you would have thrown the ball like that in high school. He was your dad.
Yeah, my dad was a former Marine, so there was not a lot of creativity on that team. High and tight, shoes shine.
My fans, please drink responsibly. Back in Happy Valley, Penn State averaging nearly 37 points a game, only 7 so far here late in the first half. Rob Stone with you coming up on the State Farm halftime. Texas A&M hot start in the week's lone all-ranked affair. Number 22 Louisville on upset alert to a sneaky good SMU side. And how about Army-Navy guys? 4-0 for the first time since 45. Both of them trying to get to 5-0. We'll see you guys at the break.
All right, 3rd down and 4 to 31. Notice Rob Stone's been doing a lot of on-cameras with his jacket off. He's kind of getting that meathead look. You can tell he's spending some time in the weight room. 3rd and 4 to 31.
Adler over the middle. Caught.
Beautiful.
What a play. Beautifully done. Liam Clifford with the catch.
There's that shot down the field I was speaking of, right over the linebackers in front of the safeties, and they'll hurry up to the line of scrimmage. Beautiful ball to Clifford. Again, second one today.
Gain of 24. Aller again. Sideline throw. And it's caught out of bounds. Julian Fleming working in. Drew Aller finding his rhythm.
Yeah, that's really good stuff. In particular, finding Clifford. You know, they've had a hard time outside or even getting past the defense, but those seams have been open. We've seen it twice now, and he's delivered a beautiful pass to Clifford on both occasions. You know, this is where you might look at taking a shot here soon.
Aller, 8 of 12, 99 yards passing. First down. 1:46 to play. From the 34. Aller brings it down. Finds his man. Here's Wallace, turns it up. And Trey Wallace close to the 5-yard line. What a great run after the catch. Addison with the tackle and Swessinger.
Yeah, this ball being just behind him works to their benefit. So he's working on the in cut, and it's just on his outside, and he stops beautifully and turns back to his left where there's no defense left. And he's able to get upfield and inside the 10-yard line. Great run after the catch from a guy that they really want, Harrison Wallace, Trey Wallace, to be their featured wide receiver. Looking for him to step up and be that alpha on the outside.
Brings up first down and goal. Straight ahead, K-Tron. And he'll get to 5.
You get that quick break of the huddle. It's just a change up of a tempo. Do you see that, Gus, where they're kind of holding in the huddle, but the offensive linemen turn and face the line of scrimmage? See how they're facing the line of scrimmage? And then they just break the huddle quickly, and they're up and they're ready to snap it on a quick count. And that really hurts the defense, in my estimation, and it makes it hard for them to make adjustments. They'll do it again right here. Here they go. Quick tempo.
2nd down and goal at the 5. Allen remains in the backfield. And Allen will lean forward. You know, Andy Kotelnicki, the big Zamboni, he spent the last 11 seasons with Lance Leipold across 3 different schools, Kansas, Buffalo, and Wisconsin Whitewater, where he won 2 Division III national titles. And the creativity that he's bringing to this team, I haven't seen this since I've been covering Penn State for the last 14 years.
He's certainly a guy that is unafraid to be outside of the box. Here's what's going on right now is that UCLA receives the second half kick. So James Franklin is trying to bleed out some of this clock right here. And he's going to take a timeout with 24 seconds left, trying to get a score and not leave UCLA much time here.
So 24 seconds remaining here in the second quarter. 7-3 Penn State, but you have to give UCLA a lot of credit. This team, Coach Foster has them prepared, and they're comfortable.
What I've seen from UCLA so far this year on film is a team that competes really well in the first half. Like I said, against LSU, they were tied at halftime. But what happens is they don't have the depth of some of these other teams, in particular at the line of scrimmage, and so they start to get worn down. And what you're seeing in the last couple of series is that run game, Gus, for Penn State become more and more of a threat, churning out more yards.
3rd down and goal at the 4-yard line. Let's see if the Nittany Lions can pay it off. Trips at the top of your screen. Tyler Warren in motion. He's dangerous down here. Watch him. Aller Back foot throw, caught. Tyler Ward, touchdown.
It's just a perfect pick route. You're going to get slant, and then you're going to get Warren right out into the flat, And Harrison Wallace does a great job of avoiding contact right there with Kane Medrano, but getting in his way enough to prevent him from following the tight end in man coverage.
Ryan Barker in to attempt the extra point. Tyler Warren, last week he had a touchdown. Extra point good. Receiving touchdown today. And that gives the Nittany Lions a 14-3 lead.
And those last two series offensively, you start to see that rhythm, and you start to see, like we've talked about, the creativity. And then you've also seen the rhythm from Drew Aller. Here's what they do with Tyler Warren. These are the snaps through the first 4 games of the season. You can see he's lined up on the offensive line a couple of times, a tight end over 100 times, in the slot almost 80 times, as a running back 12 times, and 6 times as a quarterback. And Gus, the versatility that a player like Tyler Warren affords a play caller means that you can force the hand of the defense. They have to match personnel because of his size and physicality. But when you can move him around like they do, he presents a mismatch, which is what they took advantage of on that touchdown. He's against the linebacker in coverage, and they can just throw him out into the flat. It's tough for that linebacker to make that play.
And Warren is a big dude, 6'6", 261, had 7 touchdown receptions last season. 3rd most by a tight end in Penn State history. Wusu kicks it away. And somehow he kept this one in bounds for a touchback. We saw Ohio State a couple of weeks ago.
Oh, man. Oh, man.
Where their kicker kicked it out of bounds 3 times after scores. So
the shoe in the second half, they brought in a new kicker. All he had to do was just kick it inbounds, and he did. Standing ovation.
Standing ovation.
I was like, hey, man,
in front of 100,000 people.
That's the lowest bar in history.
First down and 10 at the 25 for UCLA with 20 seconds to go. They'll take a conservative approach and run it straight ahead. And it's Harden. Picks up the first down.
I'll tell you what, they can get in field goal range here. Get up to the line of scrimmage quickly. You still got a timeout. They can get a snap or 2. They only need to get the ball to about the 42-yard line. No, we're not going to try that.
Nope.
Ooh, after you pop a run like you're trying to play conservative with a big leg at kicker, you're getting the ball to start the second half. I thought that was an opportunity to maybe get aggressive.
All right, don't forget, after the break, join Rob Stone and the boys for the State Farm Halftime Show right here at Beaver Stadium. 14-3, Nittany Lions on top at the break. A 14-3 lead over UCLA in a Big Ten showdown. Gus Johnson along with my QB Joel Klatt. Penn State in that second quarter, especially at the end of the second quarter. You see what Andy Kotelnicki is trying to do. You saw that creativity, and you saw Drew Aller really able to strike the ball down the field for longer plays.
You know, so what I love about Drew Aller is that last year he didn't have that confidence to go down the field. This year he's gaining that confidence, in particular in the intermediate zones. Let's take a look at our next level moments from the first half, sponsored by AT&T Business. Reliability for your business is our business. There's that first Gus intermediate ball right down the seam. There's the second one, and he's 10 of 14 doing a great job. What does that do? It loosens things up on the defensive side, and you can get the run game going. Now all of a sudden those big guys up front started pushing UCLA around, and they were able to run the ball down into the low red area close to the goal line, and there's that creativity. Man pick route, Tyler Warren, most versatile player on the field. He gets the ball for a touchdown, and Penn State's doing a heck of a job on that offensive side. Take a look at our first half check-in, sponsored by Allstate. You're in good hands with Allstate. There's Drew Aller on the sideline, and they've been great on third down. 6 of 8 on third down. They had 3 of those explosives that went for 20 or more yards. But I do credit UCLA. I think Justin Martin has played well. They've hung in there. Their mistake, Gus, was that they didn't capitalize that red zone possession with a touchdown. They had to settle for a field goal and now find themselves down 11.
So UCLA will get the football to start the second half. And when you look at Drew Aller, Joel, I just think that we're still at the tip of the iceberg in terms of this kid's potential.
Well, the talent is there. There's no doubt about it. I think that the next step for the Penn State offense is finding an ability to just attack outside the numbers and deep down the field. That's where you see some inconsistencies. A couple of drop passes today on the outside. Someone needs to step up at wide receiver and really be that alpha, a true number 1.
Bruins will bring it out of the end zone. Keegan Jones. And he'll get to the 20-yard line. Let's go downstairs and check in with JT.
Gus, it's interesting that Joel just pointed out what he wants to see from Penn State and their receivers. Well, Coach Franklin said we also need to do a better job finishing our blocks. Now, defensively, there were a lot of positives other than that one big play they allowed from TJ Harden. He's been pleased with what he's seeing. Now, I had a chance to ask Deshaun Foster the message. He said, we've been playing well. I'm happy with Justin Martin handling this pressure. We need to do a better job finishing in the paint. And, guys, they've been playing without their leading receiver, Rico Flores, which means a young guy has got to step up to get this one done.
First down and 10 of the 19-yard line. And Harden met by Abdul Carter as soon as he touches the football. What a player, Abdul Carter.
I tell you, this Tom Allen defense, he's the defensive coordinator. They are a second-half defense. Total this season, Gus, 9 points in the second half, only 248 yards with 36 of those coming on the ground. They do a tremendous job of making in-game adjustments and getting better as the game goes on. That's the challenge in front of UCLA.
Second down and long. And they'll hand it off, trying to sweep around the right side as Penn State's defense just converges on Carter Shaw. Wheatley again.
Yeah, Zachy Wheatley, he ran this one down. This defense is so fast. I've always said, and partner, you've heard me say this every time we do a Penn State game, you can't run away from their safeties. They've always been the key to the defense, even without KJ Winston, who's been injured and now out for the year. Jalen Reed is a heck of a player. Zachy Wheatley, they can run, they're long. It's tough to go side to side.
Third down and 12 at the 16. TJ Harden in the backfield. And trouble, pressure, loose ball. Justin Martin sacked once again. It looks like Jalen Reed recovers it. And also makes the tackle.
Well, you're going to get Jalen Reed, number 1, top of your screen. There he is. He's a free rusher, and he gets to Martin. He knocks the ball out, and it was able to bounce right to Martin as he was being taken to the ground. What a really great bounce for UCLA to retain possession. That's assuredly going to wind up as a 6-point play if Penn State can recover right there inside the 5-yard line. Look at this bounce as he's going to the ground. It just comes right back up to his chest.
So on 4th and 26, UCLA punts it out of their own end zone. And here's Saunders. And he's wrapped up quickly. Jousafon with the tackle, 14-3. A couple years ago, we had him when he was at Arizona.
Yes, that's right, Arizona State.
And a 9 a.m. kickoff somewhere in the West Coast.
We did a USC game at 9 a.m. because it was COVID, no fans. And I tell you, he found a home at LSU and came to life as a mature quarterback. And man, he has been incredible.
Katron Allen picking his way forward. And Allen get close to and pick up the first down. It looks like it's very interesting to watch these kids at this level and then see how they are able to mature and evolve and play spectacular football on Sundays.
I just end up rooting for all of them. You know what I mean? And to get the right fit, to have success at the next level.
Aller looking for the right fit here. Intercepted in the end zone. UCLA.
Now, Gus, there is a flag down on the near side at about the 18-yard line.
And that would be Kalen Moore with the interception if it stands.
Holding. Defense number 4. 10-yard penalty from the previous spot. Automatic first down.
That's Addison, who had a big pick 6 last week.
Now here's Ryan Addison, had that pick 6. So as he gets Omari Evans into his chest and Evans tries to run away, I don't know about that. I mean, maybe a little. That's just excellent coverage. Maybe they got the number wrong, but that's certainly not a foul and negates an interception. That is a wild call.
First down and 10 at the 26. Allen, he'll get to the 20.
You know, I was trying to look at somebody else because the coverage in real time, Gus, never looked like it was even interference from Brian Addison, much less a holding call there. You know, obviously it's not the NFL, so contact past 5 yards, there's not an illegal contact in college football. That is a giant call and takes an interception off the board in a 14-3 game when UCLA is just desperate for a stop. Really hasn't stopped Penn State here in the last few series in that second quarter.
Second down and 4 at the 20-yard line. Empty backfield. Now, Katron Allen, the shovel play. Tyler Warren gets to the 10. Little explosion through the line. Henderson with the tackle. And that's a gain of 11 yards.
You know, they've had to try to create some more explosive run because Nick Singleton has not played today, number 10. He's the one that gives them that explosiveness in the run game. Here they use the creativity. Create stretch on the defense with Katron Allen with that fake and just flip that little shuttle right underneath to Tyler Warren, who takes it up the field.
First down. UCLA ready though. Beautiful pursuit. Oladeja getting into the backfield.
I'll tell you what, I think this guy can be a really good player. And Femi Oladejo gets into the backfield. He's just learning defensive end, guys, right? So he's a linebacker that has moved down. So what you're going to see is every series, every game, week to week, he's going to get better and better and better, and he's going to create more havoc plays and more impactful plays. We've already seen 2 today. That tackle for loss, and he had a sack earlier.
Second down and 13 at the UCLA 14-yard line. Allen with the handoff this time going right. And Katron Allen has stood up and taken down, no gain on the play. As a matter of fact, he may have lost a half yard. Madrano with the tackle.
So Madrano makes the tackle, but watch our guy, Femi Oladejo. Gus, here he is. Look at him set the edge. So he sets the edge, which means no one gets outside of him. That's a beautiful job, and he forces the running back to the interior of the defense where his guys can make the play. So that's set up by the defensive end. Madrano gets the tackle.
Third down and 14 at the 15-yard line. Drew Allen dancing, dumps it down, has his man, and it's Quentin Martin Jr. get upfield, and he's stopped by Cahill.
It's a really good open field tackle. Oleg Cahill, beautiful job. 5th-year senior from Reno, transfer from Alabama. He was actually a 4-star recruit coming out of high school, 133rd ranked player overall, has found a home here at UCLA, and that's a good third down stop.
Ryan Barker comes in to attempt the field goal from 25 yards away. And he got it. Perfect. 8:36 to play in the third. Penn State adds 3. 17-3 over the Bruins.
There's that last field goal. And Gus, new place kicker Ryan Barker. Look at James Franklin. He's like living and dying with him. He's like, yes! Why? Because they struggled at field goal kicker. Sander Sahadak missed a field goal against West Virginia in week 1. He missed a couple last week. He was 2 for 5 on the year, and so they replaced him. And Ryan Barker comes in and makes that kick, and that's something for a head coach that's big, trying to solidify the kicking game here before their stretch run in the Big Ten. You know what James also told me today?
What did he say?
He said those are new sunglasses.
Oh! As UCLA prepares to come back on the field tomorrow, it's a huge day of football on Fox. At 1 Eastern, the Browns take on rookie sensation Jaden Daniels and the Commanders. Or at 4, Kyler Murray and the Cardinals take on Brock Purdy and the Niners. Check for the game in your area only on Fox and the Fox Sports app.
How about Bo Nix and those Broncos?
Oh, my goodness. Woo! But you just had a feeling when we were with Bo last year, Oregon, Utah, you knew he was special in terms of his leadership ability.
Yeah, he's a smart guy, point guard out there, dealing the cards. That's exactly the type of guy that Sean Payton wanted. He got him in the draft, and Denver's playing well.
That's what Justin Martin is trying to do for Eric Bieniemy, Deshaun Foster at UCLA. Here's Martin. Sidearm throw. Underneath. Caught. Get close to 8 yards on the play. Jack Peterson with the reception, backup tight end.
Well, now this offense has gone now 8 quarters, Gus, without a touchdown. Excuse me, with just 1 offensive touchdown. They've got to get something going. They struggle creating explosive plays because they've struggled in pass protection. You know, a guy that I would look at is J. Michael Sturdivant, number 7, near side. They've got to try to start to feature him as a wide receiver.
On second down, into Berger. Looking for the first down, and he won't get it. That hole plugged up. Nicely done by Keziah Izzard, the senior from DeMatha High School in Columbia, Maryland.
Holding, offense number 64. 10-yard penalty, still second down.
Sam Yoon.
Yoon getting his first start. He's a redshirt sophomore. He's right in at center, right there, big 64. And gets knocked back a little bit, and then all he can do there is just kind of grab on. I mean, I guess it's a hold.
Second down and 12. And they'll hand it off. Berger slashing. First down, UCLA. Okay, for UCLA, Joel, what does this ruined program need to do?
Well, what their program needs to do in this offense are kind of one and the same, and that is find some offensive line continuity. They've gotten better offensive line play today, and what they need to do is they've got to create a 5 guys up front that are cohesive, that can provide time in the passing game and the ability to run the football. That will allow you to create explosive plays and protect the quarterback much better than what they've been able to do.
First down at the 41-yard line. Martin to the sideline, incomplete.
Okay, so they call UCLA on a hold, and that's not a hold? Like, the officiating right now is egregiously bad. So this is Tony Rojas in defense, and Rojas is in coverage on the outside, and he just grabs the wide receiver, and no flags come out. So here's Rojas on the outside. Look, he just grabs him and turns him as he's trying to get back to the football. Nothing. No flags. Jalen Berger is the intended receiver. He inhibits his ability to try to make a play on the football, and the flag stays in the pocket. That is really poor.
Second down and 10. Martin drops it off. Berger, not a very good decision because Abdul Carter was there to make another tackle for loss.
He's had a bit of a quiet game today, partner. We haven't had the opportunity to call Abdul Carter's name in particular as a guy who was the Big Ten Defensive Player of the Week. But right here, you see how athletic he is. He engages the tackle, and yet he can still get outside with that length and athleticism and be in pass defense on that swing route. It's just very tough to go side to side against number 11, one of the most athletic players in college football.
As you mentioned, what a game last week against Illinois. 7 tackles, 4 for loss, 2 sacks, and a pass breakup. 3rd and 17 at the 34. Justin Martin trying to plant, and he'll be sacked again. This time, it's Vanover and Zane Durant. Amin Vanover
Going to get a number of guys in there, right? You've got pressure coming right up the middle. And Zane Durant is right there. You've got Amin Vanover, who's getting better and better. There's Jalen Reed, the safety, in there with some pressure and just nowhere to go with the football. UCLA needs to do a better job of changing the launch point, getting the quarterback outside of the pocket. When you're just in the pocket like that, you're a sitting duck for the best pass rush in college football.
Richter will punt it away inside his own 5. Low snap handled. Caden Saunders, the deep man. He'll start from 35 and shot down quickly as he crosses the 40. So here comes Drew Aller and the Penn State offense with the ball and the lead. Has won the exclusive home of the NLDS.
Kodai Senga, only a couple appearances so far against Zach Wheeler, who's been terrific for the Phils. 5.7 ERA.
First down and 10 at the 42 for Penn State. Katron Allen. Allen just really chewing him up today. He is running the ball extremely well.
So consistent, isn't he?
Yes. Especially between the tackles.
There's a flag on the play.
Personal foul, face mask, defense number 94. The 15-yard penalty will be added to the end of the run. Number 71's helmet was off due to foul. Therefore, he does not need to leave the game for one play.
But Sharif Say.
Ywanya 71, the offensive lineman here. He's going to be blocking on the left side of your screen, and there you see the fingers up into the face mask, and then he just kind of yanks the helmet and continues to pull it off. So that's the penalty, and again, great field position here for Penn State. And like you said, partner, you know, Katron Allen has been so good today, so consistent, and he really has been his entire career.
First down at the 33. Allen again. Remember, Nick Singleton banged up. Haven't seen him today. Swessinger with the tackle.
Look at this run game, and you look at Katron Allen. You know, he's always been in conjunction with Nick Singleton, and yet you look up, now he's in his 3rd year, and this is a guy that every single year, freshman, sophomore, now his junior year, he's averaging over 5 yards per carry, and this year is his best, up near 5.5 yards per carry. So just continues to put quality tape out there. He has been a guy that James Franklin has relied upon for 3 seasons.
18 carries, 102 yards and a touchdown last week against Illinois. Allen, sideline throw. Trey Wallace to pick up a first down and more. I just like the poise that I'm seeing from Drew Aller. We saw when he came out of high school, out of Ohio, Medina, and he's just getting so comfortable back there.
Yeah, because so watch as after the snap of the football, he's going to put his eyes on this side, and then calmly, Gus, work all the way back all the way to the 2nd, 3rd man in the progression. You see, like, nothing is forced there. The urgency is in his feet, but he's not panicked. You know, and now you look up and started the game 2 of 4. Now he's 11 of 13 since, 155 yards and a touchdown. He's really settled in, had a good day.
13 of 17 overall, 159. Allen on the move, caught. Fleming, did he get in? They say he's down inside the 1-yard line.
Man, almost just a huge touchdown for Fleming, not for the game, but just for him emotionally. Think about it. Guy grows up in Pennsylvania, goes to Ohio State, comes back home. This would have been his first touchdown in Beaver Stadium. He was that close. Man, give him another shot. If you're Andy Kotelnicki here, you got to kind of read the room. Here's number 3. He's a big contributor, or you want him to be. Go back to him.
First down and goal at the 1. Katron Allen walks in almost. Easy breezy for Penn State.
All right, fine. Give it to Katron Allen. He's earned it too. How about this offensive line? They've done a great job opening up these holes in the run game. And here, Allen, good vision over that left side. Carson Swessinger tried to come into the backfield and make a tackle. He's been all over the field. He's had 13-plus tackles already today, the linebacker for UCLA. But just too much Katron Allen. That vision, Gus, it's not just the toughness and the speed and the elusiveness, but it's the vision from the running back that makes him so good.
Katron Allen, 19 carries, 73 yards.
And Penn State takes a 24-3 lead with under 3 to play. In the third, ground and pound, Nittany Lion style. Kicking butt right now. Terms apply. (24-3). Penn State trying to make it 5-0 on the season. James Franklin's team starting to find a great groove here in the second half. And you just love what James Franklin has done. 52 years old, 11th year at Penn State. He's won 10 or more games, Joel, 4 times in his Penn State career, including each of the last 2 seasons. I know they've had problems with Michigan and Ohio State, but to win 10 games, any coach will tell you that is phenomenal.
Oh, it's so tough to do in this sport. And, you know, he's been winning for a long time. And you know, I would make the argument that he's been hurt by a lack of 12-team playoff more than anybody. Most wins in the CFP era without an appearance. James Franklin right at the top with Mike Gundy, 92 apiece. You see Kirk Ferentz and Kyle Whittingham up there as well. James has been incredibly consistent as a head coach here, and they've won a lot. And there's a lot of expectations for this season as the playoff expands that this is a playoff team, and nothing that I've seen today would make me think any different.
Incomplete on first down for UCLA.
They would have made 6 playoffs. If you go back to the start of the 4-team playoff, Gus, and you just retroactively be like, well, what would a 12-team playoff had? He would have made 6 college football playoffs.
And you never know once you get in.
Well, of course, and like, what does that do to recruiting? Narrative, perception, all of those different things. And I mean, I think he's had to fight that a little bit as a guy that, well, you can't beat Michigan, Ohio State the last couple of years, and that certainly followed them. But they're going to have a big chance next week to get a huge win when they travel to USC.
Jack Peterson with the catch. He'll get out of bounds.
But here's what I love about Coach Franklin is that, yes, that has been the knock, right? We've called a lot of those, almost all of those games, right?
And don't be mad at us, Penn State fans.
They normally are.
Don't be mad at us, Wisconsin fans.
So here's the deal, though. He didn't just sit there and shrug his shoulders and say, well, you know, that's just kind of is what it is. He went out. I think he evaluated his program with clear eyes. He got 2 new coordinators, one because he had to. Manny Diaz is now the head coach at Duke, and then he got Andy Kotelnick, and he's made his organization better.
Good pass rush by Penn State. Abdul Carter in the backfield once again. Talking to Abdul Carter, it was so much fun yesterday, folks, at the Penn State facility. He talked about his dad, Chris. He said his dad, Chris, had a squat rack in their living room growing up. In the living room.
Hey, man, you can tell. He's explosive. Is that all it takes? I'm going to put one up for the 3 boys when I get home. But, man, Abdul, I just love that he loves football so much. This guy loves to play the game.
So that'll bring up 4th down and 6 as Brody Richter comes in to punt it away. At the 14, Zion Tracy, the deep man, another low snap. Tracy backpedaling, and he catches it inside the 25 and goes down at the 21. Flag on the play, and let me correct myself, folks. Zion Tracy wears number 7. Caden Saunders wears number 7. Normally the punt returner, Saunders, a scratch. So the number 7 that has been returning is Zion Tracy.
You love double numbers.
Oh. Brother. Man, oh man.
You know?
How come they just can't have the same, you know,
There are 2 fouls on the play. During the kick, holding, return team number 31. That penalty has been declined. Holding, return team number 85. That penalty be 10 yards from the end of the kick. First down, Penn State.
Let's go downstairs and check in with Jenny.
Well, that was the best part of the story, right, Gus? That squat rack. It was never put away, right? Even when people came over. And it's really Abdul Carter's work ethic that everyone comments on to me. They said he sets this high standard, this bar, this confidence he plays with. And Coach Allen said he really is such a bright guy, loves to play the game. I want to make sure his personality can show on the field. And Abdul Carter leading the way for this defense.
The thing I like about him is he's 6'3", 252 pounds. Did you see that
a 4.4 40-yard dash.
Yeah,
How does
man.
that happen?
He's so, well, he got a squat rack. He's got that explosiveness. When he was 8, he was busting out parallel squats.
Oh. Here's a handoff, Tron. Tron Allen, could you imagine if he was just the single featured back?
Well, either of them, right? I mean,
Yep.
Singleton or Allen. But, you know, in reality, Gus, like, you can have that mindset, or you can say, hey, you know what, in modern football, both levels, NFL and college football, we see this all the time now, and it's really beneficial to these players. You know, we see a tandem backfield a lot. We see it at Michigan. We see it at Ohio State, just here in the Big Ten Conference. We see it in the NFL as well. You see it literally, and Gus, it's keeping the wear and tear off of a single guy, and it allows you to put more versatile skill sets on the field.
Allen to throw it. He'll check it down to Allen. And you're absolutely right, partner. I remember when we talked to Quinshon Judkins at Ohio State, and he said that he transferred from Ole Miss to Ohio State because he didn't want as many carries.
Sure, you know, to take some of that wear and tear off. Look at what these guys are doing as far as his history here at Penn State, these duos. You look at Franco Harris and Lydell Mitchell, and they're right up there in terms of the production of what they've been able to do. I'm telling you, I don't want Penn State fans to get lost. You know, let's not get lost with what's gone on in the last couple of years against Michigan, Ohio State, because we've had some great players here in Happy Valley. I think Katron Allen is one of them, Drew Aller's one of them, Nick Singleton, Abdul Carter, a bunch of these guys. They have played great football. Now, can they get to the mountaintop?
The third, 24-3.
Yep, just kind of wearing them out, aren't they? You know, and that offensive line is doing a great job. You look at the first quarter, it was pretty evenly played. UCLA did a great job, but ever since then, Penn State 226 yards to 73.
3rd and 6 at the 16. Aller. That ball deflected and incomplete. Intended for Julian Fleming. Madrano may have deflected that football.
Yeah, he kind of ran underneath it, didn't he? And Aller tried to get this one up and over, and yeah, that's a great job by Kane Madrano. When I watch UCLA's film, and listen, I get it, right? Like 24-3, but Kane Madrano is always flying around. Gus, I showed a little last night of Madrano and his instincts against LSU. I love watching this guy play.
And this one almost blocked. Bruins get it away.
First and 10, UCLA on their own.
That was a great effort right there, just getting that punt off. But right now, let's go to the Pacific Life game summary, sponsored by Pacific Life, creating financial security for nearly 160 years. Well, this Penn State team got it going early. Drew Aller, that little quarterback sneak, he got it going with the arm as well. Tyler Warren into the end zone. They're able to get that field goal, and after the field goal change, the kicker change, James Franklin was ecstatic on the sideline.
First down and 10. Martin under pressure. And he'll find T.J. Harden, and Harden dropped by A.J. Harris quickly.
Let's take a look at that punt, Gus. This is what we saw. That game, wow, just under his arm. That's incredible. That's why they always tell you, I know he was kind of being blocked, you know, so it's tough to do that. But when you're trying to block a punt, you go for the foot of the punter. That was Ty Lee, a linebacker, number 33, almost had that block.
Second down and 9 at the 47. Martin again under pressure. Gets it away. Bryce Pierre, the Arizona State transfer, 5th-year player, will get it upfield.
You know, there have been some really good things from Justin Martin today, the quarterback for UCLA. I know they've only got 3 points. They've only scored 1 offensive touchdown in now the last 9 quarters of football. but you see some flashes. What I'd love to see is maybe UCLA lean into his athletic ability and maybe try to get him on the move or involved in the run game in the zone read and see what he can do with his legs.
First down at the 41. Delayed handoff. Jones, nice move. Keeps those legs churning. And he'll get deep into Penn State territory.
I tell you, this is a great job by this offensive line. The right side blocks down, then you get a kick out, and you get a lead up from this side. So it's a big fold, right? You get a guard and an H-back pulling around, a little delay right down the middle of that defense, and Keegan Jones finds space. Hasn't found a lot of it today against this defense, but again, there's some flashes for UCLA.
A 22-yard gain, 1st and 10 at the 19. Here's the reverse, and it's Keegan Jones. Penn State ready for the play. Not a huge gain on the misdirection play for the Bruins.
You know, as we cover Penn State over the last couple of years, their defense has always been so fast and athletic. I've always felt like it was very difficult to run outside or side to side against this defense. Where teams have success in the run game is when they run right downhill. And those last 2 runs were great examples. Hard to get the jet sweep outside, but the downhill run worked very well.
2nd down and 7. Another delayed handoff. And it's Berger.
You know, Gus, the reason that I say that is because they're such an aggressive defense up the field. What you can do is you can crease them in the middle. And, you know, that's, I would say, one of the areas where there's still questions. Zane Durant, not quite 300 pounds. Number 28, their defensive tackle. Get it there, Akeem Beeman. He's not 300 pounds. Those are your defensive tackles right now. When you don't have 300-pound defensive tackles, I think that the offense needs to try to test those guys in the middle.
3rd down and 3 at the 12. UCLA, for their confidence, desperately in need of a touchdown. That one thrown high and incomplete. Keegan Jones, the target. A.J. Harris there defensively.
Yeah, and A.J. Harris had that sniffed out. Even if Keegan Jones is able to catch that ball, A.J. Harris was right there. This guy has great instincts. He's a transfer from Georgia. He had the pick 6 that was called back due to penalty, but he had the interception late against Illinois last week. A guy that's incredibly instinctive and smart when it comes to formations. You saw he was right there for Keegan Jones if he would have caught that ball.
4th down and 3 at the 12-yard line. And it looks like UCLA will call a timeout and talk about it. 24-3, back after this.
Well, Gus, you've got 3 wide receivers down here to the bottom of your screen. Watch out for the back out of the backfield this direction. Really tough in man coverage to defend the 4th receiver coming that direction.
Martin looks that way. Martin underneath, incomplete. On 4th and 3, and UCLA denied once again of a touchdown. They will turn it over on down.
Well, they're trying to come back to the same 4th down play that they ran earlier in the game, and they just hook up the tight end right in the void. And unfortunately, right there, just a little bit of a miscommunication between Martin and his tight end. Matavao tries to go inside. You can tell Martin's looking for him to just sit and stay outside, and it's a turnover on downs, and UCLA's defense back on the field.
So that'll make it 1st down and 10 at the 12. 24-3, 11-17 to go. Here's an opportunity for Drew Aller and this offense under the big Zamboni to get some work in. Allen bottled up, and he'll lean forward. Let's go downstairs to JT.
I know we've used the word comfortable to describe Drew Aller, but I also want to point out the word intentional. He kept bringing it up to me, how intentional he was in the offseason, making sure his body was right, intentional with his leadership. and intentional getting rid of the distractions. It was actually the wrestling coach here at Penn State who told him, don't inhale anything that doesn't help you get where you want to go. That was Coach Kale. So no social media. He said it was so freeing. Gus, we know how much pressure these quarterbacks are always under. You're seeing that happiness and that confidence and comfortability from Drew Aller.
All right, thank you very much. 2nd down and 8 at the 14. Aller. That one deflected incomplete. It's really interesting covering sports for so long, over 35 years for myself, and to know that now in today's world, how something like social media has such an effect on these young players and the things that people say about them, to the point where for these kids, turning off your social media, that's a big deal.
Of course it is. And you know, I don't think it's just athletes, Gus. I mean, I think it's all of us. Social media, and in particular, in conjunction with our phones in our pockets, to have social media right in our pockets, it's not healthy for any of us. You know, and Drew Aller is learning that lesson for himself.
He'll throw the deep ball. Aller! Got it! Clifford! Down inside the 30, Liam Clifford. The big Zamboni dialing up a big one, but there is a flag on the play.
Illegal substitution. 12 men on the field on defense. That penalty has been declined. The result of the play is a first down.
47 yards.
Well, that's something we haven't seen yet today. We've seen them hit Clifford down the seam in those intermediate routes, but we haven't seen him go down the field. And how about Liam Clifford? Brother of Sean, quarterback right here at Penn State for a number of years. Maybe he's the #1 wide receiver. He's certainly done a great job today. Good job by Liam Clifford, pushing outside, creating some of that space inside of Kalen Moore, number 9, the corner.
First down and 10 for Penn State. Aller to throw it again. Sideline throw incomplete. He was looking for his tight end, Tyler Warren. No flag on the play. Joel, I don't understand. When you look at football in today's world, college and pros, you don't see the long bomb like you used to.
Oh, this has been such a hot topic.
Has it?
Yeah, because defenses are playing more too high safeties. Okay, so I'll try to show you on the next play. We'll see kind of the coverage. Gus, when you've got 2 high safeties, the deep ball is almost impossible. Now, what you need to do is be able to run the football, okay? So here's the safeties. What are they doing? Every quarterback, every coordinator is always looking at the safeties. Right now, Gus, look, they're going down to a single high safety. We've got this safety down. That means middle closed. Now you can throw the football down the field on the outside.
Here's a shovel pass by Quentin Martin. With the reception.
You know, and so that's what everyone's fighting against, is like, what's the structure of defense? Now, that last structure with 1 high safety, it means that you can't block everybody in the run front. You know, it's more difficult to run the football. But for Penn State, what they've got to have the ability to do is, even whether there's 2 safeties back or a single safety, is push the ball down the field, create explosives. They've been able to do that. Drew Aller, you see his air yards per attempt. Last year, he was one of the last in college football. This year, it's much different. And here, we got Purbulla in at quarterback. Man, all of a sudden, Gus, there's just a lot going on, isn't there?
Certainly. 3rd down and 5. Purbulla, option, nothing. Good defense by UCLA. Oladejo. First man doing.
And man, I really love Oladejo. So first of all, here's your single safety. So what does that do? Well, now you've got space as an offense, or excuse me, a defense where you can't block everybody offensively. And now you've got free players, and Oladejo does a great job. Man, look at the athleticism for Oladejo. And now here we go. Let's watch James Franklin here. We got a field goal attempt. Remember, we got Ryan Barker, new starter as a field goal kicker. Sahadak missed 2 last week. This is something that has to get solidified for James Franklin and Penn State here.
This one from 40 yards away. Barker, beautiful. As he just drew that ball between the uprights. James Franklin smiling because he knows Ohio State and big games are coming up. He needs to be solid in that area. Exclusive home of the NLDS.
Man, how about that Pete Alonso home run against Milwaukee? That was incredible.
Spoken like an old-time baseball professional. Joel Klatt played in the minor leagues, drafted out of high school.
Do you know how well it went?
Yeah, it worked really well. You're standing next to me now.
I was going to say, I had to go back to school real quick.
Professional baseball player, starting quarterback in Colorado. Left with 44 school records. My partner, Joel Klatt. Keegan Jones. What was the hardest thing for you playing baseball?
Oh, gosh.
Hitting Uncle Charlie?
Yeah, for me, it was the slider. You don't, in high school, you don't see a slider. You see a curveball, but the slider, the spin is a little bit different, and a lot of guys at that level, they could throw it hard. 88, 87, 86 mile an hour slider. And so you'd be geared up for a fastball at 94, 95, and all of a sudden you'd get something sliding out of the zone. Swing and a miss, and go back to school.
First time I play football. It's funny because quite often we get an opportunity to be around Alex Rodriguez. He came to our seminar, as a matter of fact, folks, our college football and NFL seminar this past summer, and just standing next to him and thinking about Derek Jeter as well, but thinking about A-Rod in particular and the things he's been able to do in baseball.
Man.
It's like you're sitting next to a demigod.
Yeah, it's just such a hard game, and as every professional game is, and I always think about the people and the guys that master their craft and become some of the best players on the planet in their given sport, whether it was Alex Rodriguez and David Ortiz and obviously Derek Jeter. At the next level in the NFL ranks, you look at those guys, and you know what I always think to myself?
What?
We might be looking at guys like that are playing on this field. I always think about that in college football. It's like, what is Abdul Carter going to turn into as a pro? Is he going to be one of the most ferocious and feared pass rushers in the NFL?
Here's the run and a first down for UCLA.
See that run there? Gus, I like that. You see that athleticism. Long stride from the tall quarterback, 6'4", 220, Justin Martin. We haven't seen a lot of that designed quarterback run. And here they're just going to get a read off of the defensive end. So they're reading denied. Dennis Sutton, 33, goes inside. Martin goes outside. There's that smooth run right there. Ball high and tight. I really like that, and as they start to learn what their offense is for Deshaun Watson, possibly with Justin Martin moving forward, I think the quarterback run needs to be a bigger part of this.
Deshaun Foster, in his first year, replacing Chip Kelly, who's now the offensive coordinator for Ohio State. Over the middle, Logan Loya. Let's go downstairs and check in with Jenny.
Well, UCLA's first season in the Big Ten, Gus, well, it's come with a lot of travel, combined with that early trip to Hawaii. The Bruins are traveling a lot of miles. In fact, this week's trip to Penn State is the furthest east they have traveled for a road game since 1968 at Syracuse. And they go to Rutgers in 2 weeks. Now, one of their leaders, Kay Madrano, he said and admitted to me it has been challenging at times, but we have to control what we can control, and our effort will be there.
Here's the stretch. Keegan Jones outside. That's a lot of travel, Joe.
Oh, man.
For a college kid.
A lot of travel. Those are long trips, a long time in the airplane. Deshaun Foster certainly knows that. They're trying to adjust. And by the way, they're doing it in all new venues. I know that doesn't seem like a big thing for maybe some of you at home, but these players have never seen these venues. So every time they go someplace, they try to get there early for a Friday walkthrough so everyone knows where the play clocks are and what it's going to feel like, what the surface feels like.
2nd and 6. Martin swings it out. Berger. How about Deshaun Foster, though? UCLA's head coach, originally played for the Bruins from 1998 to 2001 before enjoying a career in the NFL with the Panthers and 49ers. He eventually returned to Los Angeles as an assistant and running backs coach before being named the head coach this year. He's got his work cut out for him. And it seems like UCLA has organization has to decide how they are going to move forward in terms of getting the best players they can in this system.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that. You know, I think that they have faced some challenges, and as a program, there's only one option. If you want to win, you've got to lean in.
Martin hit as he throws it, incomplete.
Just so difficult to sit in the pocket. And that was Carter Shaw, by the way, the intended receiver. You know who his dad is, right? David Shaw, the former head coach at Stanford. In fact, before the game, I'm walking off the field and coming up here to the booth, and guess who I saw?
Who?
David Shaw. Ooh. It was great to see him. Obviously covered David and those great Stanford teams for a number of years, Gus, with you.
What did he say? Is he going to go back and coach? Or?
Well, he's working with some capacity with the Denver Broncos right now, and he'll have another opportunity. But right now, watching his son Carter, and Carter's got a bright future. That was the last intended receiver right there.
2nd and 10 at the 29. Martin, sidearm, out of the backfield. Stephen Jones. And he's stopped by Alonzo Ford Jr. David Shaw, what a great coach he was, especially during those Stanford days. Jim Harbaugh, former assistant.
And these are obviously not consequential for the game. But Gus, like in the grand scheme of the growth of this program under Deshaun Foster, these are big snaps of the football. Right? You know, for a guy like Justin Martin, these young wide receivers on the outside, they're going to go empty backfield here. Now they're going to motion Jalen Berger back in beside Martin.
3rd down and 6 at the 25. Martin wants to run it, and he'll scoot out of bounds. Let's see where they mark the football.
I like that, man. I like his decision making there. Watch this right side, Gus. He comes out, he's looking, and then he sees like, oh, it's man coverage. I can just take off onto the right side. That's gross. See where they spotted, he kept that foot just in bounds before getting knocked out of bounds, moving the chains. But did you see how quickly he made that decision? See, that's when you're evaluating as a coach a young quarterback, you're evaluating the quickness with which they make decisions. And right there, that was really good from the youngster. Running it for a 1st down, trying to get a touchdown for his
57 to play in the 4th quarter. Penn State with a 27-3 lead over UCLA. James Franklin's team playing extremely well today in his 11th year in Happy Valley. He is the 2nd longest tenured head coach in the Big Ten, behind Iowa's Kirk Ferentz. 1st down now for UCLA at the Penn State 18-yard line. Here's the handoff straight ahead, and it's Berger. Ford Jr. with the tackle.
This would be huge for the confidence of UCLA moving forward. Again, not consequential for this game, consequential for their season, for their growth. Ethan Garbers unable to play today. Justin Martin gets his 1st start.
And I think he's played well.
I was going to say he's done some really good things. There's Garbers on the sideline. You know, and then there's some things that have been challenges. And, you know, when they're trying to just drop back right in the middle of that pocket, it's been tough.
Here's the delayed handoff. And it's Berger. I was watching you on the sideline today. Saw Josh Rosen down there.
Yeah, got to see Josh. Remember that game against Texas A&M?
That's right.
Oh, man.
Came back to beat him. 2 minutes remaining.
Let's go, yeah.
Is this for you? Penn State with an opportunity to go 5-0, 2-0 in the Big Ten. Drew Aller, a rushing and passing touchdown. Clifford, 3 catches today for 57 yards. They're down and 4 for UCLA. Can they pay it off? Martin pulls it out, runs it, and it goes out of bounds. I think our right partner in that, Martin's got that long Vince Young stride.
6'4". Yeah, I mean, so it's not going to look like he's moving fast, but he's covering a lot of ground because of those long strides. Big kid. Down there watching him throw in pregame. I was impressed with the way he threw. He's got a strong arm. Hard time here with the play call in his helmet. Looks like he's got it now. And another opportunity here on a 4th down.
4th down and 2.
Martin. First down, UCLA. So the Bruins still with an opportunity to score a touchdown. Logan Loya can target that time.
Yeah, and already now his 5th catch. He's been really good out of that slot, hasn't he? Finding the voids in the defense and a couple of big catches on conversion opportunities. That was another. And they're able to move the chains on a 4th down and get down here into the low red zone. Again, these reps are so good for this team, this offensive line, and this young quarterback.
First down and goal at the 5. And a timeout, Penn State. James Franklin calling the timeout. So the schedule for the Nittany Lions, they got a big one next week.
Yeah, they sure do. And that's a game that everyone's going to be looking at, in particular with the way that they have struggled in recent years with some of those better teams. You know, when you look at what they have done against teams in the top 25, Penn State 3-17 versus top 10 teams, 6-22 versus top 15 teams. Those are the games that people around here want James Franklin to win with Penn State. And then they've got, obviously, Ohio State down the road.
Who's the best team in the country?
I think probably Ohio State is the best team in the country, although the team that's earned the #1 spot is Alabama with that incredible victory over Georgia last Saturday night.
First down and goal at the 5, out of the I formation, straight ahead. And it's Berger. I tell you that. I turned the game off. It was 28-0 last week.
I know.
I turned it off.
It was wild. Tale of 2 halves. The thing I loved about that game is that it embodied what we love about sport. You know, 2 great teams going at it, giving their best. But then also what's great about college football in that you saw within the game, each team is imminently beatable and at the top end could probably win the national championship. You know, I just think in the top 10 in the country, anybody on any given Saturday could win any of those games.
Second down and goal. And it's Berger. Getting even closer for UCLA.
Yeah.
And you kind of want to see him punch one in, you know? Just get that gorilla off their back.
They have not scored an offensive touchdown now in 9 quarters. We're 36 seconds away from that being 10 quarters. Eric Bieniemy, the offensive coordinator, trying to urge that young offense and his young quarterback to hurry up here. He's got 2 downs to do it.
And 24 seconds. Third down and goal. And UCLA make that Penn State calling the timeout.
Yeah, James ran down there, took a timeout.
Baseball's coming, folks. Mets and Phillies. Looks like a great day in the city of brotherly love. I like watching that Bryce Harper, man. He swings that bat so hard. It's like he's trying to hit it to Pluto.
I know, and especially with the postseason fireworks that he had a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
Great Joe Davis call. You know, excited to see what he can do. I'm excited to see what Shohei Ohtani can do in the postseason later tonight. Can't wait to watch him.
I always liked Ohtani when he was with the Angels, but this year, when he hit that home run against Pittsburgh Schemes, I said, wow.
Oh, you said, okay.
Unbelievable. Third down and goal at the 1. Martin, play action. In the end zone. Caught. Touchdown, UCLA. All right. Logan Loya. And the Bruins finally score a touchdown. And they get that gorilla off of their backs.
And he's just going to take off to the corner right here, and he just beats Dejon Lane, number 10, the entire way.
Good throw.
Especially Gus kind of retreating and almost fading away on the run almost to put that amount of touch on the ball just on the sideline for Logan Loya. Now 6 catches, has the touchdown. He's been tremendous today for UCLA. And again, just a confidence booster for this offense and this young quarterback to prove that, okay, we can do that. If we can get in there and we can execute Deshaun Foster, first offensive touchdown for his ball club in 149 minutes of game time. And that's offensive touchdown, of course. Brian Addison had that pick 6 against Oregon, so the first time the offense has been able to get in the end zone in a long time.
Like the way Justin Martin has played in this game. They'll go for 2. Bobbled snap, shoveled pass, and they will score. Keegan Jones. Good drive for the Bruins. A confidence-building drive for UCLA.
What I really love here is they're going to pull a guard, and then they get this motion coming across the field, and then they're able to just kind of get back up inside of that pulling guard, that Spencer Holsteg. And Holsteg didn't even have anyone to block there. Good creativity from, excuse me, Eric Bieniemy and Justin Martin. You see all the pats there. That, again, man, that's big for your confidence. I'm telling you, man, when you're a young quarterback, the first time that you ever go out there and it's live, it is so different.
Really?
And you learn
Not like
so
practice?
much. No, practice for a quarterback, it's just like practice. It's like,
I know you're not talking about practice.
We're not talking about practice, are we?
We're not talking about the game.
It is the only position in sports you cannot replicate. There is no ability to replicate it, and you know that's what guys like Drew Aller have had to learn in his career. That's what Justin Martin learned today. And by the way, I can't imagine having to start for the first time in this building against that defense and that defensive front. I mean, you talk about baptism by fire for the redshirt sophomore Justin Martin. And all intents and purposes, he's actually played really well. Gus, 22 of 30. 167 yards, did not throw an interception.
And I'll tell you who really played well. Talk about confidence building. Last week, the UCLA offensive line gave up 7 sacks. Today, against one of the best defenses, one of the best pass rushes in all of college football, only 2.
Yeah. And by the way, Penn State still played great.
Right.
This is still a team on that opposite sideline that I firmly believe is going to be a playoff team. Can't wait for that game next week against USC as Aller takes a knee to end things out. That is a bona fide top 10 team on that opposite sideline, coached by a really great head coach. Penn State is a real deal. But today, I legitimately feel like UCLA got better today.
Yes, they did. They'll take on Minnesota at home next week. James Franklin and the Nittany Lions improved their record to 5-0, and they've got that big one. And I mean a huge one next week at the Coliseum against Southern California.
Man, the winner of that game is going to be in such a good position when it comes to 2 things: playoff narrative